Welcome to the Hop Edition podcast, brought to you in association with the Malt Miller, your go-to choice for premium homebrewing ingredients and equipment. Whether you're a beginner starting out or an experienced brewer, the Malt Miller has got you covered. So for top quality products and customer service, jump over to themaltmiller.co.uk and tell them the Hop Edition sent you. We would also like to thank all our Patreons for their continued support with running and developing the pod. If you would like to become a member and gain access to exclusive perks and benefits, head over to patreon.com/the Hop Edition. Now it's time to get this pod started, so crack open a homebrew and enjoy the episode.
Whoop, 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 whoop. Hello, everyone. Welcome to episode 84 of the Hop Edition podcast. That's a bad start, isn't it? I put my teeth back in.
It's all good, mate. You can borrow mine.
Yeah, I need a whole new set. Tonight we're going to be reflecting on the festive period. We've just all enjoyed Christmas, so we're going to talk a bit about what's been going on. We're going to talk a little bit about what's in store for next year. And we're going to just reflect a little bit on where we think beer might be heading in 2024. As you can see, we're down a few of the compadres. Andy's off somewhere wild off the coast of Scotland, and Tricky's just in the wild. No one knows where he is.
He's on his way back from somewhere, I think.
Yeah, he's going to hopefully join us later part of the pod. If not, the podcast. So to that point, I think this is going to be a relatively short podcast tonight. We say fateful words. And then we'll be running an after party for anyone that wants to swing by, close out 2023 and drink to 2024 and chat a bit about brewing. But before we start, a quick reminder about our wonderful sponsor, the Malt Miller, who are the go-to supplier for everything homebrew in the UK. Everything from kettles to Keyser gear to base malts to barbecue rubs. Go check them out. They're amazing. Excellent service. Remember, there is also a dedicated Hop Edition recipe section where you can find a range of beers that have featured on the podcast, including our own creations and some real stunning beers or recipes from our guests that we've had on the podcast over the years. And finally, just a quick reminder, please subscribe to our YouTube channel and our Facebook page. It really helps us to grow as a podcast, and also means that you guys get to stay up to date on all the announcements, as well as just interacting with us on our live streams. So go check that out. We've just posted will post the links to our Facebook and YouTube
already in there
in the comments, and I think Chris has already done it. Yes, he has. So thank you for that. So with all that said, 2023 is coming to a close.
It's been a wonderful year.
The penultimate day of the year. Chris, how are you?
I'm good, Owen. I'm good. I've been a bit rough the last few days. There were a few lads having a chat on Skype last night, and I walked in like this. I walked in a bit, Empire, being the emperor and all that. I was pretty rough last night, but I needed to have a beer. I needed to get out of the house. So I came down here and I had a pint, and then I went back to the house and went to bed. But I'm good today. I woke up at 6 with the kids. Then I had a wonderful post-sleep snooze until 9:45 when I decided that the wife hadn't left for gymnastics with my daughter and really needed to, because it started at 10.
Oh.
Yeah. It turns out it wasn't actually on, so it didn't really matter, but it got us out the house.
That's a real blow to the nuts.
I'm telling you, we made it there. We were 1 minute late. My daughter was really not happy, so it is what it is. But Christmas has been good, mate. I have had quite a few rather good beers sent to me by Santa. Let's just leave it at that.
Oh, happy days.
Yeah, I thought so. Just before we go any further, if you guys jump onto the Hop Edition Facebook page right now, I know some of you have already done it, but we're a little bit short on votes. I've got 3 beers that I've decided I'm going to drink tonight. Definitely. They are definitely going to happen, right? One of them is Andex Hefe Helles, since I've got a few bottles of that. The other one is a Keller beer by Hackashaw. And the third one is a, see if I can get this right, a peanut butter maple chocolate. No, not, what was it? It was I'll show you. It's just easier to show you. It's this.
It's the adjective stout.
Yes, it is a coffee, maple, peanut butter and bacon imperial milk stout by Amity Brew Co., which apparently has got wax on it as well, which is even more amusing. Shout out to my wonderful brother-in-law for getting me a 6-pack of that.
Wait,
It's
sorry, they waxed
on the other end.
Bottom.
Yeah.
They waxed the bottom.
Side down, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, why wouldn't you just wax the bottom of a can?
I mean, I can't see a reason why you wouldn't. But what I've not done is I've not told you which of the responses is the right one. So it's a thumbs up for number 1. It's a heart emoji face for number 2. And it is a party face for number 3. So don't be lured into what the faces say. Choose one of those beers, and I will be drinking them throughout the rest of the podcast and through the after party. So if you want to see me try a maple bacon chocolate imperial marshmallow maple stout, then you kind of need to be in the after party. As it stands right now, Owen, why don't you let people know what it is that you're drinking while I grab a beer that I'm going to drink?
Yeah, sure. I mean, for the record, I'm voting Party Face.
You're voting Party Face.
I'm going with Party Face.
Party Face. I like Party Face. Party Face is a good one.
If I'm allowed to vote.
Of course you're allowed to vote. You've got no idea what they are. You've not even read the notes.
I've got them in front of me, whether I've read them or not. Well, I'm drinking, well, looks pretty dark, but I'm drinking my, bloody hell, what is it? My Märzen. So I brewed this. It needs some more lagering. Not going to lie. So it's still a bit young. Probably only kegged it a couple of weeks ago. So it probably needs another at least 6 weeks in the keg. But you know me, I can't resist. Pretty clear already. Fairly dark. Looks darker on camera than it actually is. Put some light behind it.
Looks like a gorgeous beer.
Kind of quite dark coppery colour. Nice head retention. And on the nose, you're just getting really sweet honeyed malt, brown bread crust, probably a little bit more hop presence than I would like. Oh, that went well, Chris. For anyone that Chris is muted right now, Chris just poured a beer and he's got...
Didn't go well.
8 inches of foam.
I mean,
that's the exaggeration.
That's at least 8 inches.
That's 8 inches, right?
Yeah, I fucked that one right up.
I've just got a lovely kind of sweet malt aroma, as it should be, really. And on the taste, it's deep, like a really deep, kind of really malty flavour to it. It's quite complex. You're getting a lot of bready notes. Not as much honey on the flavour as you do on the aroma. Lots of brown bread. Not super dry. It didn't dry out quite as much as I would have wanted. Kind of finished at, I think it was 10-15, but it's only a 5% beer. I would have liked to have gotten that down to kind of 10-13, 10-12, just to have a little bit of a crisper finish. But overall, I'm pretty pleased with it, and I think it's got a lot of promise. I think it's going to go into a few competitions over the next few months, but it needs more lagering. But cheers. Here's to 2023.
I'm glad that you're enjoying that, Märzen. It's truly a wonderful style. It's one of my favorites.
I'll probably call this like an ode to your recipe, Chris.
Because it's nothing like mine, right?
Inspired by... No, it's nothing. Well, no, it is inspired by your recipe. just with some minor adaptations.
And by minor adaptations, you mean everything's changed?
Everything's changed.
There we go. Okay. To be fair,
I'll walk you through the recipe if you want.
Go on then. Walk everybody through the recipe while I tot up, because I'm getting comments left, right, and centre here, and I've got to work out what's what.
Yeah, I mean, if you're going to really take this vape thing seriously, which I don't feel you probably have done, given.
Oh no, I am doing.
Given as you've already.
I've cracked a beer. I've cracked a beer. This isn't one of the beers.
Right. Recipe. I was going for quite a big beer, and I think I ended up slightly undershooting it. So I was going for about 5.5%, and it ended up coming out about 5%. It didn't finish out quite as low as I would have wanted. Chris, your recipe is entirely, the base malt's entirely Vienna, right?
No.
Was it not? I thought it was.
No, it's not.
The version
Mine
I've got it was.
Is it? Well, you've got a very wrong version then.
Oh.
Give me a second. It should be near the top. Mine is 3.83 kilos of Vienna, 610 of Munich 20, 440 of Carapils, and 100 grams of Crystal 120.
Yeah, so pretty much all the base malts Vienna, unless
I mean it's predominantly Vienna, yeah.
The dark Munich, I guess, which arguably is a base malt. But mine, I decided to cut the Vienna in half with Bohemian Pilsner. And then I went Carapils, dark Munich, not quite as much as you. Added some Melanoidin and went with the 120 Lovibond Crystal Malt. So not enormously different to your recipe.
The Melanoidin will avoid that kind of... It'll give it that decocted kind of flavour, won't it? That little bit of caramel depth.
Exactly the reason why I added it. Then I went SARS in the boil, Hersbrucker halfway through the boil, and fermented it out with Diamond lager yeast from Lallemand. Nice. They're not a true Märzen lager yeast, but I didn't have any, so I just went with what I had. Actually, I pitched 2 packs of Diamond lager yeast and 1 pack of 3470.
Okay.
And I'm surprised that I didn't get better attenuation.
It's a weird one, is Diamond. It doesn't seem to like those complex sugars. It doesn't really seem to chew through any of them at all. Whereas you'd expect a certain amount of hydrolysis, thermal breakdown, thermolysis, whatever you want to call it. I just think that there's... Yeah.
I did mash at 68 though.
Okay.
That's probably where I went wrong.
That's probably where you've knacked that one a bit.
Yeah, well, I think it was more of a case that Brewfather was saying that Diamond lager yeast would attenuate to 80%. So I was trying to offset for it not to come out too dry. So I mashed higher, and then the yeast didn't attenuate anywhere near 80%. So anyway, we're in the minutiae. It tastes all right. Give it a few more months. I'm sure it's going to be banging.
If you give it a few more months, what might actually happen is you might end up with some hydrolysis of those longer sugars and a little bit of chew down within the keg.
Possibly.
I don't know. Whether it'll drop 2 points, I don't know, but...
Maybe it might get a little crispier over time. I think naturally, as you kind of lager, it tends to get a little bit crisp, a little bit more crisp, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does.
Anyway, what are you drinking, Chris?
Well, I took a trip to Costco just before Christmas, and we were wandering around the dessert section, if you know your Costco, and they had these chocolate pots, which my son really wanted. Now, 80% chocolate desserts, which is what it is, as in 80% chocolate in the dessert, it doesn't really do much for my wife. She's not a big fan. But the kids were screaming, and I'm like, yeah, maybe I could do with one, maybe, you know. Anyway, immediately to my right was the wine section, because that's how our Costco's laid out. And this happened to be in a gift pack with a Winterbrow and I think it's a Pilsner, the other one, all by Krombacher. Now, I like Krombacher beers. They're really nice. Plus, the bottles are incredibly useful because they'll take like 87 atmospheres of CO2. They're the Hulk of beer bottles, these. And I thought, it comes with 2 steins. Why not? So that got wrapped up for me for Christmas. That was another one of my Christmas gifts.
Santa.
And go on. Santa took them away with his courier company and delivered them again. And yeah, I thought, you know what? Let's get it on. So this tastes incredibly weird. This beer tastes, I mean, you know how much I love the Andex Hefe. Well, this is not the Andex Hefe. This is straight orange in the glass. All right. There's a lot of trub. There's a lot of that yeast flavor that you get. There's a hell of a lot of bubble gum and virtually no clove and what appears to be honey flavor coming through. So it's drinkable. Don't get me wrong. But it's not what I would consider to be even close to the gold standard, which is the Andex Hefe.
It looks quite dark. Is it?
It is.
Yeah.
It's a strange one, but it's not unpleasant. It's drinkable. I like it. I like it more for the fact that I've now got 3 of those bottles. But at the same time, yeah, it meant we got the chocolate desserts that the kids want because I got this for Christmas. It was the old bait and switch on the wife.
Yeah,
I said, "You get me that for Christmas," and just dunked it into the basket as you do.
Yeah.
So yeah, it all worked out well. But it's a decent beer. I honestly believe that, you know, it could use some improvement. But I think the bottom line is that not everybody's going to like the same Hefes that I like. So it's a good one. It's a good beer.
Yeah. Well, so you were saying you've got the Andex Hefe Hell.
Oh, yes.
I just so happen to have the same beer.
I just so happen to have a lot. I just happen to have a lot of that.
Do you want me to talk you through this evening's lineup?
Oh, go on then.
Oh, let's have a look. What's in the box? I have a styrofoam box that I keep my beers.
This is planning on a level we have not seen from other podcasts.
I've been using it for years on the podcast.
I know, mate.
Keeps all my beers nice and cold. I have got Andex Hef, a bottle of Le Chouffe, and a can of Imperial Measures.
I mean, you could do a lot worse.
I'd say that's a pretty well curated evening.
Yeah, that's a good one. It is a good one. Just to clarify before I get to the end of this particular one and before we move on to the next section, currently winning is option 3, followed by option 2, followed by option 1.
Oof.
Now, you've got until I finish this to put a comment up on the Facebook page to let us know, or use the Facebook chat or use the YouTube chat. Thumbs up is number 1. Love heart smiley face is number 2. Party face is number 3. Get your smileys done. Click the link. Let's go. Let's get this done. Because currently, party face is winning. Only because Owen chose party face.
Yeah, I influenced the jury, didn't I?
Owen chose party face.
I led the jury.
So just leave us a message. I'll refresh the Facebook before I pour the next beer. Anyway, shall we get into this?
Which heads, Chris? Let's do it as if we haven't got into it already. Look at that. Thomas says styrofoam boxes as a sign of professionalism. Pop that.
I would agree with him. Professionalism.
A few other people drinking along tonight. Owen Orton's drinking his Hobgoblin Gold Clone, which came second in the local brew comp. Congrats, Owen.
Nice.
And Bruddy Back Homebrew is drinking a beer called... I'm not sure I'm going to be able to pronounce that, but it's called Moorish. It has a Welsh name. In the interest of not hashing that, called Moorish. It's a European dark beer, meets the Anglesey shoreline, brewed with Anglesey seaweed. And the hops are EKG, Northdown, Racal, and Sriracha Ace. So that sounds like a really interesting beer.
I've got to be honest.
From Dylan. Let us know how it's tasting, Dylan.
He had me right up to the point where it said it's got seaweed in it and Sriracha Ace.
Well, you know what? Sriracha Ace sometimes in very small measures. That's just an interesting dimension, but...
I agree. I think 1 gram in a 20,000 hec batch is enough.
Yeah, maybe. 1/2 a pellet. Just cut it,
half
cut
a
it in
pellet.
half with a scalpel.
Half a pellet. That's the one.
Brett Harmon Brewing's drinking Pilsner Urquell, followed by Beak Statues Dipper, which apparently is very good. And he's going to follow that up with Burning Skies Saison de Fête, which I've got a couple of bottles of in the fridge and probably should have brought that up. Andy Thomas is drinking Old Hooky, Thornbridge and Verdant beers tonight. So just a few shout outs. Anyway, Chris, you talked a bit about your Christmas.
I did.
What's been going on?
Well, just like kids, man. Just making sure everything was perfect for the kids. We did the usual thing of, making sure that Santa had enough presents to deliver to the kids, and then going out on Christmas Eve and getting a load more presents for them, because that's kind of the way we fly.
Okay.
So there was...
lastminute.com.
Well, it wasn't so much lastminute.com. It was more, there was one thing that we decided that we really needed to get for Oscar and one thing that we really needed to get for Abigail. And that turned into 150 quid in Smith's Toy Superstores, as it always does. But I have to say, Santa, when he brought him the glow-in-the-dark Switch protective case with Mario Kart on the front, I've not seen Oscar smile as much in my life.
Really? A Switch?
Yeah.
Lucky boy.
No, not the Switch, just the carry case. He already had the Switch.
Oh, okay, nice.
But he had, and to be fair, I'm really happy about this. If any of you guys, like me, are old school and like your comic books, right? Not comics, comic books, okay? I was always into Asterix and Obelix because, Get a Fix and Vital Statistics are just legendary. You should really give...
And you love the French?
Okay. We'll go with that. I do actually really like French literature when it's translated into English and I don't have to read it in French because je ne parle français. If you're into those kind of books like me, Dogman and Cat Kid. Go down to your local library, grab 10,000 Fleas Under the Sea, I think it's called, is one of the Dogman books. And just read it. You will be pissing yourself laughing because the humour probably goes straight over the top of some kids. But I guarantee you'll get every single bit of it, and it's fucking hilarious.
All right. Can't remember the last time I went into a library.
Oh, you should.
But,
you should.
I think we're well overdue on several library books. I'm not sure we're allowed into the local library.
Oscar went down with the Scouts and took a book out on my account, and I got an email saying you owe us £8.99 for this book, and I'm like, I haven't been to the library in about 8 years. It's definitely not me. So I went down there and, mea culpa, my son took it out, that kind of thing. And she went, oh, it's no problem, just give us the book back. So I did, and it was all good. So, but yeah, the Dogman and the Cat Kid books are very, very cool. Other than that, it was just food, man.
Yeah.
Sous vide turkey breast wrapped with a bacon blanket with roasted lamb, sprouts, homemade red currant jelly, roast potatoes, roast parsnips, and gravy to die for. Because you know me, I'm big on my gravy.
Besto, was it? Yeah.
No. There's no Bisto in my fucking house. But it was absolutely stunning. It was a cross between lamb and turkey gravy. It was really, really good and outstanding. So they were just chilled, man. A couple of beers and, day with the fam. It was awesome.
Nice.
How about you?
Mine was pretty similar. Yeah, a lot of time with the kids. We did a pretty fun thing Christmas morning, which is sort of trending this year, which is where you like put the you cover the doorway in wrapping paper, and then the kids get to kind of bash through it, kind of gladiator style. That was quite fun, and yeah, it was cool. I got a very nice present from my wife, which is a Japanese cuisine masterclass cookery course for a few hours.
Wow.
At a local butcher's, which is, it's very nice butchers, but they got butchers, then they've got like a small restaurant cafe thing, and then they've got a cookery school. So I'm going to go do that in January, which is going to be a lot of fun. But yeah, it was good. Had some great food. I smoked some salmon, cured and smoked some salmon, smoked loads of cheese. I've eaten my body weight in cheese. I feel like I've eaten too much, really. I need to.
Well, that's normal.
Yeah, I need to just calm that down. Went to the Panto today.
Nice.
Went to see Peter Pan. Went to see Hook
Nice.
in Portsmouth. Boo hiss.
He's over there.
Which was pretty fun. Yeah, he's behind you.
Yeah, that's the one.
That was a good laugh. And then went to Wendy's for dinner.
For a square burger.
For a square burger. Which,
yeah, man.
If anyone's got a Wendy's near them, highly recommend. It was absolutely banging.
Yeah, sounds like fun.
But yeah, I had some great beers. Drank a lot of Verdant beer. Pulled some interesting beers out of the beer fridge, the bottle collection. Had a few weird mixed firm beers. Had one from Burnt Mill actually, which was incredibly sour. Which was one of their like mixed firm barrel aged type. It was like left in Chateau Neuf de Pape barrels.
Wow.
Yeah. But it was almost like, not even almost, it was acetic as well.
Oh, nice. Vinegary.
Yeah, so it had just a little vinegary touch to it. Super sour, very complex. Borderline like, oh, am I actually enjoying this?
Yeah. I've had a few of them.
One of those beers, and it was a big bottle as well.
Nice.
So that was Christmas Day. I had that with some cheese.
Obviously.
Yeah, so it's been pretty wild. Yeah.
It's nice when you can have one of those days though, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it's been pretty relaxed. Which has been nice. Not too much running around. And then we got a New Year's Eve party tomorrow. Hosted a load of people here.
Nice.
Which should be fun.
Good job of doing this tonight then, eh?
I got some brewing done as well.
I haven't, you see. I've been really disappointed by that. And I've got a massive list of brews to get through next year. So yeah. Not really ideal compared to the way that I would normally do it.
See, I suddenly realised that I didn't have anything like beer nerd friendly necessarily on tap, and I've got a lot of people coming. So no, I ended up just making like a hazy pale ale. You know, everyone likes those, right?
An inoffensive pale ale.
An inoffensive pale ale, nice and hoppy, should be quite fruity. Fermented that out with Ebergarden.
Nice. Done in 12 hours.
With the old toenails.
Toenails.
So I dehydrated. Basically, I made up a starter. I had a pack of wet yeast, Ebergarden, made up a starter with it because it was getting kind of old. That's why I was doing it. Made up a big starter. Then I poured it into a couple of dishes onto sanitized greaseproof paper, and then put it in the air fryer on the dehydrate mode. So I dehydrated it down, and now I've got an obscene amount of fried Evergarden, which I think would just last me for like the rest of my life. So that's in the freezer. I literally just pitched like the smallest amount, and it was done in 2 days.
Yeah, 48 hours, job done. Take the box.
Yeah, it took a while to take off, compared to pitching like wet yeast, but yeah. Bear in mind, I haven't tasted it yet. I only caked it today.
It's going to be fine, mate. You know that. It's going to be fine.
Right. It was smelling amazing. I should have really tasted it, but I was in a bit of a rush. There you go. Just
because I've run out of beer. The winner is number 3, so it's Party Face. And according to our notes, Party Face is this beer, if I can find it. You just talk for a minute, are we?
Yeah, well, can I tell him what beer it is?
Yeah, go for it, man.
So, Party Face, number 3, just to check, was the Hackashaw Keller beer. Keller beer, interesting style of beer. I've not ever brewed a Keller beer. It's essentially kind of a old lager beer style. Is that right?
It's an unfiltered, fresh lager.
Yeah. Okay. So if you lager it for long enough, does it just become a lager?
Yeah.
Man.
So yeah, it's essentially a Keller beer is an unfiltered, cloudy lager. That's pretty much all it is. But I have to say that the Hackashaw one, because it's a legit Munich Keller, this one, it's such a fucking lovely beer. And you'll see as I pour it. That it is definitely unfiltered.
Yeah. I mean, it's again, it's sort of quite dark, isn't it?
Yeah.
I was expecting kind of a lighter straw colour beer. Don't know if it's your camera coming across a little bit dark.
Well, I'll tell you what I will do is I'll do this. And it is kind of, it's orangey more than it is anything else.
Yeah, okay. Oh, it looks good.
It tastes fucking fantastic. This is one of the nicer Kellers I think I've had. The Braybrook Keller was pretty good, but it's not a patch on this. And I love Braybrook as a brewery. I do genuinely, but I think, 200 and odd years of brewing experience, which is what you get with Hackashaw. Yeah.
Brett's talking about a specific Keller yeast.
That bootleg biology one is legit.
Do you have to use a different type of yeast to make a Keller beer?
You don't have to, but if you do, you will get a more representative Keller.
Will it kind of just represent that freshness for a bit longer? Is that the idea? Or
as far as I'm aware, most people, when they get a Keller, they assume that what is causing the opacity within the beer or the translucency within the beer is just floating yeast. But in reality, it's not. I think it's more to do with, like, when we had Lance on and he was talking about that protein. I think that's basically what this is. I think that's the the proteosaccharide that he was talking about. I just think that I don't really care what the chemistry is. This is one of those occasions where me being a chemist is pointless, because it's the flavor of this beer that really hits home.
Yeah.
It is absolutely stunning. It's fresh. It's almost fruity. And it just drinks so unbelievably well. It's such a lovely, lovely beer.
So is it kind of a hoppier lager?
Slightly hoppier, yes.
Yeah.
There's more of that floral fruitiness that comes through from, like, your Hersbruckers and your Spalts and your Saz when you hop at slightly higher amounts. That's where I'm getting from this. I just love it.
So it's slightly more balanced between the malt and the hop. I was just pulling up on kind of Wikipedia, saying it's a beer originating from Franconia. So I
Yes.
guess that's kind of where the yeast strain comes into play, because of course they've more than likely got their own yeast strains in Franconia in the breweries there.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, interesting.
Thomas says a Keller beer is a similar thing to a real ale in the world of lagers.
Yeah, I could see that comparison.
Oh, yeah, I can as well. I mean, I'm definitely getting the New England pale element of the real ale in this world of lagers. It's very nice. The world of, can't remember what it was called. Was it World of, I can't remember the website that I ordered it from. But I got loads. I got the Keller beer. I got some Schneider Weiss. I got a load of Andex. I got some original, the one with the H, whatever that is. Hopfenbrau. Is it Hopbrau?
Hopbrau?
Hopbrau, yeah. Hopbrau. I don't know. They're in there. Yeah, something like that. And oh my god, just stunning beer. Like Brett's just said, it's a less refined and a more tank fresh lager. Slight amounts of, definitely a slight amount of sulfur. Yeah, and very
traditionally served direct from the barrel.
Yeah, absolutely. It's stunning. It's a great beer.
Which makes sense.
We've been here for 37 minutes, and you do realise that we have not actually moved on to... well, we have actually. We have. What was the highlight of your... What was the highlight of your dinner table?
The highlight of what, for Christmas Day?
You wrote the notes, dude.
I did. Highlight of the dinner table. Well, I'd say my smoked salmon was pretty banging. That was pretty good. And for anyone that's not done your own smoked salmon, I bought, I don't know how much it was. It was like 5 good sized fillets, like nice wide ones, from Costco. 20 quid cost me. And then all you do is put, I think it's like half sugar, half salt, maybe some spices if we want to jazz it up, and then just put that in a bag with the salmon, seal it up. If you've got a vac sealer, all the better. Put it in the fridge for a day or two, pull it out, wash it off, pat it dry, put it back in the fridge, and then cold smoke it, which you can do pretty much in any barbecue, cardboard box, anything that's sort of a container that's clean and sanitary. And then just get yourself a cold smoker. Apparently those tube ones, which are really inexpensive, are supposedly pretty good.
They're about 9 or 10 quid. And you just get
some fruit wood dust. And all you've got to do is just get it, not even a light, just smouldering. And it will just smoulder. It doesn't produce any heat, or next to no heat. And you can just smoke the salmon on racks. And compared to the price of smoked salmon in the supermarkets, which is like 5 quid for 200 grams, I think I ended up producing like I must have made near on 2 kilos probably for 20 quid. Be it I had the stuff to be able to do it.
Bagels and logs, bro.
But that stuff's going to pay dividends over the years, right? Because
it's going to do more than pay dividends.
But then I've managed to sort of, make it significantly cheaper, and it tastes arguably much better. So that was a big highlight. And then I would say Christmas dinner, which I went to my in-laws for. My father-in-law's Christmas dinner are pretty legendary. The plate, when it arrives to the table, is literally full. And that is only the veg.
Nice.
And then all of the meat and the stuffing and the Yorkshire puddings and everything else get put in the middle of the table. And it's just monstrous. Like, it's enough food to feed a family. on one plate, really, and then you just gorge yourself until you near vomit.
Let's take a quick.
That's Christmas Day at my in-laws, which is a great highlight.
Let's take a quick poll. If you're in the chat right now, all I want is a thumbs up for Brussels sprouts as a yes, a thumbs down for Brussels sprouts as a no.
Are we talking just plain Brussels sprouts?
Plain, steamed, or boiled Brussels sprouts? No. Don't be giving away my next point.
All right.
Because my next point is how to take those people who are doing this and turn them into a this. Yes. Trust me. I can guarantee every one of you who's like this with the Brussels, I can make you do this.
Right. Ron's first in.
Oh, we're going in. Ron's a thumbs up. Brett's a thumbs up, but no more than 3. Thomas is talking about smoked salmon with a sauce of creme fraiche, red onion, caviar, and lime. Okay.
One nice bread.
Owen's just gone thumbs up.
Thumbs up.
Owen Orton.
Sprouts. This is the highlight of the podcast.
This is a good one. Patrick's gone thumbs down.
Our sprout poll.
Oh dear. Patrick's a no. I'm going to give Patrick. I'm going to tell you how. Oh no. Give up. Stewie's a thumbs down as well.
Stewie's a thumbs down.
No. You guys are wrong. You're wrong.
So he's just baited you into going thumbs down, and then I'm going to tell you why you're wrong.
I'll tell you why you're wrong. I'll do it right now. Okay? What you do with Brussels sprouts is you parboil them for about 5 minutes. Okay? Then you pull them out. You chop them in half. You throw them in a frying pan that you've cooked 7 rashers of smoked streaky bacon. You give them a toss around. Then you put them on a plate and you say, reaffirm your life, gentlemen and ladies, because these are fucking fantastic. Okay? Trust me.
To be fair, bacon does make everything better.
Bacon makes Brussels sprouts way better.
Do you chestnuts?
Way better. I don't do chestnuts at all. I can't stand them.
A bit of cream.
No, you can't have cream with these sprouts. That's like having creamed cabbage. That brings back memories.
Yeah, man. That's dirty.
I have actually tried a shandy with a mitts and stew, and it's very nice. There you go, Orton. Parboil and fry all the way. Exactly, but put bacon in with it. Telling you. Anyway,
essentially just add some fat. Just add fat to it.
You need flavored fat,
and it will taste better.
That's what it is. So,
what am I going to drink? Well, I'm out of beer and I need something to drink.
What are your options?
Well, my options are Imperial Measures, Andex, Hef, Le Chouffe.
You've got to go Le Chouffe.
Really? Off the bat, an 8%er. All right.
You got to go Le Chouffe because, like, everybody knows what Le Chouffe tastes like. Roasted with shallots and garlic. Ooh, that's an interesting one, Brett. That's an interesting one. I'm going to be trying that because they've still got sprouts in the shop. Roasted sprouts with shallots and garlic. With bacon as well. Can we put bacon in? I don't care about vegetarians. Can we put bacon in that as well?
It's your boat, Chris.
I'm going to paddle the fucker. Damn straight. Right. The highlight of the dinner table for me was the roast potatoes. My wife adores roast potatoes, and she makes really good roast potatoes. You've got to have a crispy roast potato. And she did loads. And we had parsnips with it as well, which kind of adds to the roast potatoes. I don't put honey on my parsnips. I'm not a complete heathen. They're sweet enough without the honey. But the roast potatoes were friggin' epic. Let's put it this way. There were 2 baking trays, 2 35-centimeter baking trays full of roast potatoes. And at the end of Christmas dinner, because I throw everything into a leftover pie, like Owen does, there were no roast potatoes or parsnips left. So guess what was very popular at half? There were 4 of us.
Just the 4 of you. Yeah.
Just the 4 of us.
The humble potato.
Roasted.
It's mighty, isn't it? Especially if you get it right. You get it right. Hard to beat that.
It's banging. It is
Especially
banging.
with good gravy.
Mate, You got to make proper gravy. If
Yeah,
it comes out of a packet, it's wrong.
agreed.
Yeah.
And so easy to make as well.
Yeah. It's not difficult. Right, shall we jump on? Because I wanted to keep this under an hour and a half if we can, so I can use the automatic AI editing.
Nice. Let's do it then. So,
Okay.
we've talked about Christmas. Christmas was great. Let's move on.
Yeah. Let's go with this is going to be a very short section, by the way. Just some highlights of the future guests that we've got that are either signed up for definite or are ones that were kind of in negotiations for, but that are looking good. Now, I've only got 3 because I don't want to give you guys too much, okay? We've got a gentleman from Bath Hass who's a super chemist, and he's coming on. We're just trying to nail down a date with him. But when he comes on, expect a super geeky look at hops, growing them for all of you wonderful humans who grow your own hops, but also about the future of hops, what's going into the hops, where we're moving with the hops in Europe, that kind of thing. Second on this list, we have a certain, I'm trying to remember her name. Is it Sophie Delarone?
I think
Or
so.
Sophie Larone?
Don't quote me on that.
Burnt Mill, because of some of the things that they're doing with gluten-reduced beers, but also because of one of the beers that's on Owen's to drink list, Imperial Measures.
Yeah.
We have to find out how Imperial Measures is made, because it is absolutely wrong that somebody can produce a beer that big with that much body and it only be 4.8. It's just wrong. It's wrong.
A chewy beer. Yeah, I definitely want to quiz her on that.
Me too,
But
man.
also,
Me too.
Also, just because Burnt Mill are great,
They're
produce
amazing.
Some of the best beer, arguably in the UK. They
Without
are an
doubt,
amazing
yeah.
brewery, so it'd be excellent to be able to kind of quiz them a little bit, and they might even be kind enough to share a recipe or two with us, which of course will most likely go into kit form that you can order from the Malt Miller.
Absolutely. And I saved the best for last because you know how much we love our lagers and we know how much we appreciate the way that Sophie de Ronde, yeah, there we go. We have an affinity with lager brewing because it is arguably, and I think definitely, the most difficult style to actually hit on the nose and to get really good. And if you're going to choose a lager, you might as well choose a good lager. So we have a gentleman from Budvar coming on the podcast. We are nailing down dates with him. And that is going to be an episode where I think all 4 of us, to be fair, are going to be drooling ever so slightly. Basically, excuse me, just trying to get as much information out of him as we can. It's clear that they produce a lot of beer. It's clear that they produce some absolutely fantastic beer. Yes, it's Radim.
Yes, Radim. I'm trying to
And
remember his name.
And basically, he's going to be giving us a masterclass in how to produce a Czech Pilsner, as well as giving us some background into what is, I think, one of, if not the largest lager producers in Europe. Just what scale are they producing on, just to make everybody feel inadequate with their 25-litre systems? More to the point.
Yeah, and I mean, I think everyone's familiar with Bump Bar. Like that you buy in the supermarkets and things, which is their just standard Czech Pilsner. But they produce a whole range of different beers. They had a really good stand at London Craft Beer Festival back in August. I think Radim was there, was he not? So if anyone remembers the really massive guy wearing like
a leather apron.
A leather apron, yeah, serving the beer. That's Radim, who will be joining us hopefully on the podcast. But I remember trying their Czech dark lager, and that was one of the beers of the festival for me. It was absolutely incredible. Very, very tasty. But I believe they produce all sorts of different beers. All lagers, mind, but
Can I just jump in and go, gentlemen, keep the 24th of February free. I realise that is 8 weeks into the future. But keep the 24th of February free. And more importantly, keep the 20th of January free as well. Because we have a certain gentleman from a brewery that Brett seems to like quite a lot. Damien from Emperors is joining us.
Oof.
And that one is nailed on. Radim is nailed on for the 24th. So hopefully we can get Tom in between Damien from Emperors and Radim from Budvar. And that will make a brilliant start to the new year. And then hopefully Sophie sometime around about my wife's birthday. That would be perfect for me. So yeah. The wonderful thing is we've got a list and you guys don't know what's on it because there's other stuff on there. We're just not talking about it yet.
Just some tease, a little bit of tease for the new year. Yeah,
Just the
so
tip.
2023 has been a great year to us, hasn't it? You know, we have grown a hell of a lot, got an awful lot of different guests on, and I think 2024 is shaping up to be even bigger and even better.
I think so too.
Just as evidenced by the quality of those guests pretty much in the first quarter. That's pretty strong.
The first sixth, not even the first quarter.
Yeah. So
we're pushing
expect some good podcast chat with those guys. And interestingly, all the Bs, Barfast, Burnt Mill, and Budvar. Triple B.
Yeah.
It must have
for
been
anybody
the last episode. We were inspired by BB, the big banana.
If anybody is Scottish and they remember the Killer Bees, the second row from the Scottish rugby team, there we go. That's what we're talking about. I'm trying to remember. It was Johnny Beattie and a couple of others, and they were very, very, very good, even though Scotland was shit. But, you know, it is what it is. The second row was very good because I think all three of them went on the Lions tour. Anyway, I digress. Let's get into this. Owen, what have you got planned to brew in 2024?
Well, first off, I entered the Malt Miller Burning Sky mixed firm competition, which was released 2 weeks ago. Only 50 entries available. I don't know if they've sold out. I will check. So I need to brew something for that. It's pretty long. It's a pretty long wait until the competition draws to a close, simply because of the style. So if you're going to be doing like a oak aged mixed firm beer, so I think they're not. I think they are going to be judging it sometime in June. So it gives you a fair while to crack on and brew something. So I've got to do
Brett
that.
says they still have some left.
They may well do. Yeah, I don't think it's been super popular, but equally, it is a pretty niche corner of the homebrew.
Definitely.
Especially competition brewing, right? So I know Brett's all over it. I'm pretty sure Brooksy's in there. I've entered. I have already got a couple of beers in kegs, which I think I'm probably going to utilise in some way and do some blending. I'm thinking about doing probably more of a straight fruited sour and then trying to blend that up with some mixed firm saison to see what results I can get out of that. What else is on the brewing list? I bought some Spectrum and Incognito the last time I shopped at the Malt Miller with the intention of making some sort of New England IPA. It's been an age since I've made one, so that's definitely on the list to brew. I would really like to. I've got a new hand pull, so that needs to have a bitter on it pretty soon. I'd really like to brew a milk stout. I'd quite like to rebrew my, probably getting more into the summer, the passion fruit sour.
Mate, if you do, I want a keg. So double batch that
I'll just
bitch.
do a double batch and
Double
post
batch
to a
that bitch,
keg.
man.
It's £95 by DPD.
No, I'll come down and pick it up.
You'll drive the
I'll
10-hour round trip.
I'll do a 10-hour round
to
trip to pick that up.
Nice. And that's probably about it. I'd probably want to do another West Coast. I'd really like to have a go at a dark Czech lager, talking about Budvar earlier.
I've been thinking about that too, man.
Brett shared a few recipes with me on that, which is the full decoction mashing method. So I'm thinking about maybe having a go at doing the whole full-on 80-hour brew day or whatever it takes to do a triple.
It's only 78
decoction mash. I'd also like to have a go at the Saison Houblon recipe, which for anyone that are unfamiliar with that beer, that is a beer from Burning Sky. You can get it in can. I'd highly recommend it. Really nice Saison. It's not too Saison-y. Really tasty beer. I think actually if you enter the Malt Miller competition, they send you a can of Saison Houblon. And they have a recipe for it on their website as well. I think they released that during their Brewery With Us piece with Burning Sky. And from those that have brewed it, said it's pretty bang on. Wow. So they've done a really good job of scaling that. I suspect Reiki would have done that, if not Stiffo. And apologies to both of them if they didn't. I'd quite like to remake the Coconut IPA. Maybe put it on the hand pull. I do have a great love for that beer. If you've never made it,
it is a good beer.
It's like a coconut bitter with a mosaic twist. It's a really interesting
coconut
beer.
And blueberries.
Yeah, it sounds a bit mental, but it's actually quite nuanced. Yeah, it's relatively calm. But I reckon that would be banging on the hand pull. Anyway, I could just go on and on and on. I've probably just named about 12 beers. So that's, what are you going to brew for the entirety of 2024?
The entirety of 2024. I've only got up till the end of March.
Yeah.
It's what I'm planned so far.
Okay.
I am doing a Bipper.
Nice.
I know somebody who's got a pretty good recipe for a Bipper that I'm going to steal. That'd be you. And I'm planning on doing a Czech dark lager with the full Budvar yeast. Like, I'm not going to do decoction because I'm just not going to do that to myself. I am going to brew a mango, passion fruit, and peach sour.
Nice.
Using the packets. That one.
Purees.
No, the purees, but the yeast, the dried yeast.
Oh, Philly sour.
Philly sour. And I've also got... Oh, wait there. Tricky. Is it worth jumping on? Of course it's worth jumping on, you fucking bellend. Sorry, guys.
On here.
Yeah. The main thing for me is I want to really stretch my brewing this year, and I want to have a lot more homebrew in kegs. I've got pissed off with buying beer. And I've reached the point where I've run out of beer in there, and I've run out of time running up to Christmas. I've got to be honest with you. I've run out of fucking time. So, Tricky's just booting up. So we'll be on in a minute.
Time is an illusion, Chris. Time is a social construct.
I'm sure it is, but my kids tell me it's fucking not. So I want to be able to brew. I want to be able to do some different brews. I've not done a Bipper. I want to do a Bipper. I had this idea in my head of doing a cherry Bipper.
Yeah.
So a black IPA with some cherry. And weirdly enough, he's just put it in there. Brett won the Centennial kit, Reiki's Smash. I want to do my Bipper with just Centennial.
Nice. That worked very nicely. That's
what
almost
I'm
going to
thinking.
be like... It would almost end up being like a black version of Two Bells Hearted,
Yes.
which I'm pretty sure will have been where Reiki's Centennial Smash kind of was inspired from, because I know he loves that beer.
That's what I was thinking.
And it is great. I mean, I've made that beer a couple of times in its full format and a session version, and both were really good.
I'm going to aim to use purely Yakima Chief Cryo Centennial,
Okay.
just to kind of up the Centennial flavour a little bit, so it marries with the cherries a little bit more.
Yeah. I think the cherry thing.
Or maybe just leave the cherries to another bipper. I've got a whole year.
Yeah.
Got a whole year.
I might be inclined to say that it's a bit of a risk, right?
No risk, no reward.
That's a little bit left field. It could be amazing.
Hang on a sec. Hold up.
It could be total.
It could be carnage. Oh, look. We got another bearded dickhead.
Hello.
Oh, there he is.
Another bearded dickhead.
Yeah, Tricky. 1 minute, 1 hour, 1 minute, 20 seconds.
Chris has got a
Lovely.
beard. Can't you see it?
Well, not anymore. Shaved it off.
No.
Yeah. It was getting
More
on
shame.
pretty well. And then the wife moaned at me. She said it tickled.
Did she say you looked like a pedo, so you had to shave it off?
Fuck off. Literally been on just a
Rate
sec.
it.
Fuck off. Yeah, so that's what I'm thinking. I'm also planning on doing a full-blown, no fucking holds barred milk stout. Like, I'm not fucking around. We're going serious lactose. We're going serious milk stout. But I'm aiming for that to be around about 4.5.
You're trying to
Guinness kind of thing.
I thought you were going to sort of try and do a bit of an imperial measures.
Yeah, that was what. I
Not
was
until
thinking when
Sophie's
you
been
started
on.
Talking about that.
Okay, you're going to chat
Not-
with Sophie first. That's wise.
I'm gonna try and pull as much as I can from her, as far as information goes about how to get that beer as good as it is, and we're just gonna go from there. That's my theory. Tricky, you've just turned up. All right, dickhead, how you doing?
Yeah, what the fuck's going on?
Yeah,
What
we're
are we
at
talking about?
Plan
We've been
Brews
prattling on.
2024.
Yeah, I've literally got nothing.
You've got
mind
nothing
to say at the
planned?
No
minute.
plans.
Well,
No
I
plans
say
at
that.
all.
I say that. I have what have I got lined up for brewing? I've got shit loads of different hops that need trying out, whether that be in hop tester form or just to brew something with generally, because all the freebies from like BrewCon and various other bits and pieces, and then other people have sent me stuff, so lots of hops to try out. I think there's a few beer styles that I would like to have a go at doing that I haven't done before. I've had in mind to try and do an export stout for quite a while, especially since trying the elusive beer, and a long time since trying the Colonel one as well, that I've wanted to do a really nice export stout. I've got to make sure there's beers for all these competitions that are coming up as well, so I think I've got some stuff in hand, but whether or not I deem it good enough for the competitions when they arrive or not is another matter. So yeah.
That's the trick, isn't it? It's kind of, you brew these beers. Quite often it's the beers that you brew for the competition that don't actually make it to the competition. You end up entering something else.
Very much so, yeah.
Yeah, I'm with you. Like, I've got an export stout, which was the, in fact, it's not an export stout. It's a Baltic porter, which I've only had in keg for ages. I mean, Chris, you came down in the summer and tried it then, and I think it had been in the keg for about 2 months before you tried it.
That was nice.
And I think it's only just come good now.
That was a nice beer back then, man.
Yeah, you know, some dark beers just have that, like, they're too, like, red fruit dark fruit to the point that it becomes a bit
Sickly.
or a bit sharp almost.
Mm.
Does anyone else get that?
Yeah, I know what you mean.
It's when you sort of just slightly overdo the Carafa Special 3 or whatever.
I'm influencing people. Have you noticed this?
Yeah.
Ron Muir's doing a Brambling Cross single hop IPA, which some gardener's grown for him next door in a walled garden, which is just a massive fucking check out that chip, bitches. And then Dr. Sam is doing a Brambling Cross Smash. You know what I mean? I'm influencing people. I'm an influencer, people. That's what I am. I'm influencing.
You want to get on TikTok, mate?
No, I don't. Fucking not having the Chinese government see what's on my computer. No, that's never going to happen.
Whilst talking about Brambling Cross.
That's the one. That's the one. Now, one thing that I am quite glad you're here for, Tricky, is this next section could go anyway, and we've got exactly 14 minutes to discuss it. Okay, because I'm going to use I'm going to use the hour and a half automatic editing on Adobe's new podcasting cloud.
Okay,
so this is coming in at under an hour. If I have to cut everyone off at 1 hour 29 minutes and 59 seconds,
I see. Right, that's why it's
like,
crucial.
It's in the bag. Bye.
Okay, so whereabouts is craft beer headed in 2024? Where's it going?
Is it going anywhere dramatically different?
What haven't we done?
Any new styles?
Is there anything radical or exciting that is going to be popping up? Nothing that springs to mind, to be honest.
Can I say, I will make a prediction right here, right now. I think the black IPA is going to come to the forefront. I think there's going to be a lot more breweries producing bippers than there has been over the last year. Because I keep an eye out. I keep my eyes onto this. I don't think there's a lot. Tricky, your speakers are still active because I'm hearing bings.
They're not.
In that case, something fucking weird's going off with my computer.
I can't hear anything.
Everything weird.
I'm not hearing anything.
I'm hearing bings, and I don't like bings.
I mean, I would expect it's not exactly anything radical or new, but I would expect that some of the lower ABV beers, so not like zero alcohol, but your kind of sub 3.4% stuff, because of the new duty laws are probably going to be getting pushed even more so. Hoddy was talking about that in terms of bringing down the average alcohol volume that breweries are producing in order to reduce their duty requirements they have to pay. So, I mean, I would expect to see more of that. I would expect, almost all craft breweries to end up with some kind of regular sub 3.5% beer that becomes a stalwart, or doing a lot of brews like that. I would probably expect them to see them exploring some of the other styles that are maybe going to give them the opportunity to brew lower alcohol beers but still get lots of flavor into them. So one that I tried out this year, which I think you might see more of potentially, is the Grisette. So I think there might be more people playing around with Grisettes, because
I would agree with that.
A beer style there where you can get lots of flavor into it via the yeast primarily, but it is also something that you can play with hopping and fruit additions and things like that as well. So there's lots of avenues there for putting flavor and a more exciting spin on something that is still usually designed to be around about 3.5%, if not less. And also just a really, I mean, I went through the keg that I made of that super fast, and it was just a really basic attempt at it. It wasn't fruited or hopped in any radical kind of way, but it was very, very tasty and very refreshing. Really good for summer as well.
Can I just jump in at this point? Did anybody see? It may be one of those hallucinations where you're not quite awake and not quite asleep, or you're on drugs. Somebody released a pear Grisette. Did anyone see that?
Any other clues as to
No.
who it might have been? No.
No. I browsed so many fucking websites, it could have been anything.
Didn't you
But
have it on the podcast? I remember
No.
someone having a pear beer.
Somebody had a pear grisette, and it may have been a home brewer who was making it, but I'm pretty sure it was actually a craft brewery that was producing a pear grisette. That just sounds fucking weird.
Sounds
Pear
good.
in beer is strange. Pear on its own. Perry, I love Perry. Perry's goddamn awesome. Pear in a beer?
I mean,
I think grisette's one of those styles that might carry it.
pear is, if you're going to have a kind of pear-like ester in any kind of beers, it probably would be Belgian beers that you're maybe going to pick
Yeah.
up on that. But
Maybe.
that's maybe thinking more along the lines of that slightly like acetone kind of pear drop type
Yeah.
flavor
Butyl
as
acetate,
opposed
not
to
acetone.
actual pear fruit in there.
Yeah.
That's
yeah. You just don't very often see pear or apple as
No.
a flavouring in
No.
beer, do you? And I guess that's probably the association to the acetaldehyde off flavour that you
Mhm.
would get, which is what Tricky was talking about in terms of the pear drop or the kind of red apple.
There we go. It was
Vibe.
Andy. It was Andy.
It was a
Pear and Blackberry was a fruit beer that he did. It was a McGrisette. It's like a McShit with lies, but you know.
I thought it wasn't a grisette though, was it? I thought it was a sour beer that
I don't know where I've got Grisette from.
didn't quite end up sour.
I may well,
but it was very nice. I might be
I
remembering
think
that. Don't know.
I think similar to the Grisette, like the Berliner Weiss,
yes,
the fruited
yeah.
Berliner Weiss, the triple fruited goes. Those might start to through the sort of run up to the summer and summer.
Those kind of like
entry
entry level sort of beers that are a little bit funkier as well. So it's like getting more flavour in without having to push the alcohol up or going
That's
crazy
true.
with hop additions. And Berliner Weiss is another good example of that via the kind of sourness and the fruit flavours and everything else that you can go with on that. So
we
I
might
could
see
see
a
that.
bit more. Maybe we wouldn't see more like mixed firm, like unusual bacteria beers, because breweries tend to err away from those, right, because of the associated risk of contamination to the
It
brewery
was a
house.
goes that Andy did, yeah.
I love a goes. I think next year we might start to see people playing with mixing styles a bit more. Like, don't know exactly what, but a little bit like last year or this year. Sorry, we started to see the cold IPA.
I really hope we don't end up with another one of
Right.
those types of style.
And then, will we end up with the sour Nipah or the...
We've already had sour Nipahs.
Well, we've already had it, but it's not really sort of taken off, though, is it?
That's true.
Lots of breweries are doing it. Because that's when you start to just see people creating a new style of beer, but from two other styles of beer, and just kind of like fusion brewing.
Right.
Lager. I think lager might be bigger.
I
What
think
do you
lager is
reckon?
going to be huge. Before we continue this conversation, just to give people a little bit of time to actually make the point. Gentlemen, this is glass number 1. I have a beer designed for this one, although it may not be what you think. And this is glass number 2. I have a beer designed for this one. Thumbs up for this beer. Thumbs down for this beer. You've got 2 minutes until 1 hour and 16 on the pod. Thumbs up, thumbs down. Let's go. Right, there we go. Let's continue to talk. Because I honestly believe that there is going to be a revolution within craft brewing. It'll occur around about the end of February, beginning of March, when people start buying beer again and it just flies up. Okay? So, we've got 2 thumbs up so far. Thumbs up are winning.
Everyone's going to go for the bigger glass, aren't they?
I'm sure they will.
Big
However,
gun.
all I'm saying is this is a Teku.
Fancy, fancy
This
glassware.
is a Teku. And look what it says on it.
Nice.
I love my brother-in-law. He's amazing. Oh, 2 thumbs up, 2 thumbs down. Come on, people, let's vote.
All right, should we take the next vote as like the decider?
Next vote is the decider.
Oh, Dr. Sam's gone.
Wow, it
Techie.
swung fully back the other way.
Okay, so that would be the Amity Bruco. I'll turn the can the right way up. This is the Breakfast Bessie, the coffee, maple, and peanut butter and bacon
Why
Imperial
has it got
Milk Stout.
wax on the can.
Oh, I
I
know
don't know.
Ludicrous.
exactly what I said. And it's on the bottom of the can as well.
It's
I was
even
hoping-
more ridiculous.
I was hoping
Yeah.
it's not wax. I think it's actually plastic. Because
No,
wax
that's-
don't do that. Yeah, that's not wax.
That is wax.
It's definitely it's the hardest fucking wax I've ever seen. Oh, Patrick Stockwell did 2 thumbs up.
Too late.
Too late, Patrick.
Right, here we go.
So Amity Brew Co. are from where?
I have no idea. My brother-in-law got them for me.
Are they UK?
Yeah, they are UK. Let's have a see.
Pudsey.
Farsley, which is next door to Pudsey. I've just had a slurp. That's weird. Right,
Where exactly is Pudsey and
it's in Leeds.
Barnsley? Oh, okay.
Oh, hello. Thank God you can't taste the bacon. Oh, you can.
Oh, there
You
it is.
can. It's right on the end. Sorry to be that guy, but it's not a Teku, it's an Adele. All right, I'll tell my brother-in-law he's a lying fuck then.
Yeah, that's the Teku goes out and back in,
Yeah,
and then
it's-
the little lip, doesn't it? Good.
Yeah.
I
good
don't
call,
care.
Brian.
I've
No, we like to
I've
be
got a
exact
stem
on the
glass.
Don't
podcast.
see the Tekus
Yeah.
much. They were all the rage at one point, weren't they? And I
And
think
I
Bars
love
probably
it.
realised they got smashed so easily. They took
They
off the
are
stem and went with
dangerously-
the whatever that one is called. The one with
Right,
Dangerously fragile, aren't they? I do love it
Yeah.
when someone corrects Chris.
Yeah, everybody
Well
corrects
done,
me.
Brian.
Good work.
I have to say, right, that this is one of those beers that is a bit strange. You say 0.4%, right? And it's
What's
got some-
what's on the actual ingredients list, Chris? Because I'm interested to see
Coffee,
which of those
maple-
ingredients are actual ingredients and which are flavors.
coffee, maple syrup, peanuts, lactose, salt, water, barley, wheat, oats, hops, and yeast.
So
Okay.
the bacon flavouring is
Yes.
that's a flavouring, right?
There's no oil slick on the top, so it's definitely not natural bacon.
Yeah, and I mean, like, you don't want to just go lobbing in some cooked rashers of bacon, do you?
Oh, I don't know. I wouldn't complain.
I'm sure I've got a recipe book somewhere which has got a beer in it that uses actual bacon in some form. In it.
No,
Sure, I have. That's
just
going
some
to bug me now.
pork
I'll have to
scratchings. Just chucking
That's
up
it.
a few packs
Just
of pork scratchings.
crumble some pork scratchings over the top of the FE.
I'm going to turn that round.
Dry
because
dry
I really,
scratching the beer.
I
during
really like that.
fermentation.
Okay, so Amity Fest. This is one of the
Oh,
breweries.
you come
that-
round to it. I thought it was super weird.
No, it is super weird, but it's really nice. Okay, I'm getting lots of the maple. Right. The peanut butter is very low key, which I like. I don't like too much peanut butter in a beer, but it's very low key. I'm really enjoying the maple, right? And the coffee sits with the maple, and it's just lovely. And then right at the end, you get it's not so much a bacon flavor as it is like the salty sweetness that you get from bacon. It's really, really nice. Okay, this is one of the nicest stupid stouts I've had in a while. I would highly recommend, if any of you have not bought anything from Am, I'm going to hit these guys up and say, look, I had one of your beers on our podcast, and it was just weird enough that we want to talk to you about it and see whether or not they turn up. Either that or next week when the kids are at gym club, I'll fuck off down to Farsley.
I've got a hypothesis. I think
What's up?
perhaps there might not actually be any bacon flavouring in it. I think
Okay.
maybe they're relying on the maple and the salt to
Suggestion
give
of
you
bacon.
the impression of bacon.
I tell you, this is a banger, right? It's a. Do you know what this needs to really edge it off like perfectly? It needs blueberries.
Yeah.
It needs blueberries in this, and it would be at 8.4%, which is what it is. I think this would be perfect if it just had blueberries in it. Ham hock porter, bacon smoked porter. Fucking hell, Tricky. You've got all the weird shit.
Actual bacon in the ingredients list.
Do you sort of what? You do dress it with a
230
slice
grams.
of maple baked bacon? Or
Fry,
put it
so after fermentation stops, fry the bacon and cut off as much fat as you can. Place bacon pieces in a sanitized growler or other sealable vessel. Fill growler with porter. Dry pork the beer in the growler for 5 to 7 days.
Dry hot with
Dry
bacon.
pork.
Okay.
Love it. Strain out the bacon. You can use a paper towel to absorb any fat floating on top of the bacon tea. Keg or add priming sugar and bottle and carbonate. Yeah, there's so many things that are going to go horribly wrong with that. That's the homebrew recipe Bible by Chris Colby for anyone who wants to brew bacon infused porter.
Well, I guess don't judge it until you tried it, but
I'm gonna be honest. That sounds weird, but I'll be willing to give it a go.
I mean, I guess the good thing with that method is you can try it with a little, a small portion of the batch and not necessarily ruin everything. So
that's true.
See if it is actually feasible. I've got a lot of questions about whether that's going to work out for you, but yeah, it'd be interesting.
Well, that's a book I have. I may have to try that one.
Coming soon to 2024. Chris's bacon.
Can I just say, gentlemen,
bacon infused beer.
Bacon. I'm gonna see if I can get the recipe for this and put some actual blueberries in it, because I think that'd be banging. Right. We're at the end of the podcast. The idea was to get this one short so that we can get an after party and actually have a beer with all of you fuckers. All right? You wonderful, wonderful humans who sit down and listen to us talk shite every 2 weeks. We want to have a beer with you, because tomorrow night you're going to be doing whatever you're doing with your friends and your family, or like most people that I know, going to bed about 9:30.
Yeah, fucking it off and going to
all right? Because let's face it, it's over-commercialized shit. We're going to knock this one on the head. We're going to say a massive thank you to the Malt Miller for being our sponsor. We're going to say a massive thank you to all of our Patreons. Every single one of you guys, I love you all. I have a little bit of a point that I want to make. I sent out a message not too long back asking for addresses for everybody. Now, there aren't addresses on Patreon, and this is disturbing me. And it's also disturbing my wife, because there's a bag of hats and a bag of stickers and a bag of all sorts of other shit just waiting to be sent out to you people. Okay? That's what it's meant to be. I'm trying to send you guys stuff. If you don't give me your fucking address, I can't send it to you. Right? There's no point me just putting on the address Dr. Sam and sending it out. Not to Dr. Sam, because I've actually got her address. She's way up in the Highlands of Scotland, somewhere on an island, doing whatever she's doing. And that's wonderful. Plus, I'm not going to piss her off. She's a doctor of law. She'll probably sue me for something I've said. The point is, I need to be able to send stuff out to you people, and nobody's giving me your address. It's annoying. All right? My kids love stuffing stuff into jiffy bags and writing addresses on it. You never know. You might get one decorated by my daughter on the back of it. There'll be weird pictures of unicorns and shit. Please send me your address so I can send you stuff. Okay? It's as simple as that. That's what I want. I want your address so I can send you stuff. So if you're a Patreon of the podcast, we love you all. Give me your fucking address. Okay? That's all I'm asking. I want to send you stuff. I don't want to send you spam. I want to send you stuff. Right? So just give me your address. Please give me your address. Please. Please, pretty please with the cherry on top. Okay, now
borderline begging now.
Borderline. Thanks to all of our sponsors, the Malt Miller, and also I want to give a shout out to Johnny at Brew Kick Tap for supporting us during this year, because what he did was amazing, legend. Thanks to the Malt Miller for being absolutely awesome human beings. Your support means so much to us. All right, we genuinely do love you guys. And the way that we're able to work together is brilliant. Oh, fuck off, Andy. Fucking hell. Mr. Deep Fried Mars Bar in his Aaron jumper. Fuck off. Now, I love you really, Andy. The main thing that we need to do right now is we need to say we're coming back in 2024 and we're coming back hard. All right, you've already heard what we're coming back with. It's going to be good, right? So don't sleep on us because we're going to be there. We're going to be giving you all the stuff. And more importantly, I'm going to try and get Amity on so that we can talk about this beer as well as other stuff. I'm going to post a link right now. That is the after party link. Jump on. I've not had a chance to set the meeting up yet, so please don't kick off if you can't get in and you're just waiting. Owen, I love you. Your hair is amazing. You're a stunningly good-looking human being. Tricky, thanks for being here. I love
Glad
your
I
beard.
rushed home.
Yeah, I love your beard, man. Andy, you're a fucking legend, and I love you too. And hopefully we're going to have a better 2024 than we had a better 2023, which was pretty damn good as it was. So let's push on, let's push up, and let's see where we end up.
Cheers, Chris.
Episode 84 in the bag. Nobody going to say anything else?
Bye.
I
Okay.
felt like that was a pretty good close, to be fair,
Okay,
Chris.
we'll call
Yeah,
it there.
I thought everyone
See you
wanted to
later,
nail
people.
it down.
Bye,
Have
everyone.
fun.
Adios.
Happy New Year.
I can't read that, Dr. Sam. I don't speak whatever language that is. I'm sorry.
Is that written in Wookiee?
It looks like Klingon. It looks like Klingon to me. Anyway, we're out. See you later, boys. Have fun. Go and join the after party and let's have a beer. We'll see you all soon. Bye-bye.